Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the City of Belleville to the 2021 Playground Replacements Public Meeting. I'm delighted to be your host. I've recognized a few names on the list, and there's some that I haven't had the opportunity to meet, and look forward to do so in the future, I'm sure. Welcome, my name's Roland Cave Brown Cave of the Parks Department from the Transportation and Operations Services. And I'm the project lead for the replacement of the 3 playgrounds at the 3 sites. Join me is Joe Reed, General Manager of Transportation and Operations Services. There he is, waving. I'm pretty sure he's not in his pajamas. We also have Jenna Leslie, who works with our communications coordinator. Hi, Jenna. And Marilyn Warren, who will be taking your calls. Mark Coyle is behind the scenes, and he's the manager of operations of information services, and really makes this digital meeting a reality. We have a few rules of participation that I'd just like to review. We ask that you be respectful, be open-minded, but most importantly, this is a public meeting and we want you to have your say. We would like to say that any individuals who participates in comments or conversations that contain profane language or are explicitly sexual in content is discriminatory or hateful in nature on the basis of ancestry, color, race, citizenship, ethnic origin, place of origin, creed, disability, family status, marital status, gender identity, gender expression, sex or sexual orientation. Anyone or conversation or comments that violates any law or rule or regulation or promotes illegal activity and conduct, discloses personal data or information about others, violates any policies or procedures of the City of Belleville, will have their comments deleted and may be removed from the online public meeting. To proceed safely, it has required us to pivot from our traditional open houses to a virtual setting. Our process is a hybrid of both live and recorded content for those who wish to watch at a later date. This will be posted on the city website after the session. Today's format will allow you a couple of ways to ask questions throughout. You may ask questions through the virtual chat function within the platform. The questions will be received and be answered the best way possible. The questions, if you prefer to call in, there's a number at the bottom of the screen on the screen. If you want to call those in, we will populate the chat function and answer those as best as we can. We'll strive to answer all the questions you might have during the session, and if there's any questions you have that we can't or we don't cover them, or you think about them afterwards, we ask that you email us through the Park and Recreation Master Plan email, which is prmp@belleville.ca. At the end of the presentation, we will have that address for you again. I'm hopeful today that today's engagement will stimulate fruitful interactions and discussions about the future of these 3 parks. Please share your thoughts with enthusiasm, be engaged in this open house, ask questions as they come up, and don't be shy. Let your voice be heard. I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your schedules to be with us, and I wish to thank the city's mayor and council for their support on these projects. The City of Belleville was allocated approximately $1.02 million of funding through the ICIP COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream. Part of the process to be eligible for this funding was through an application process and we await the application approval currently. During the 2021 capital budget deliberations, a timeline was provided that once approved, the projects must start by September 30th, 2021, and under this funding must be completed by December 31st of this year. So with these type timelines, staff is working through the process to ensure these sites are shovel ready once we're approved. 3 playgrounds were identified as a priority through the Park and Recreation Master Plan. Some of you may be aware that we're undergoing that master plan process. The first phase of the draft document was presented to Council last week and was received by Mayor and Council. The preliminary findings identified these 3 parks as needing updating or replacement. So Hague Park at 213 Hague Road, Stanley Parquet, 32 Stanley Park Drive, and Cascade Park, which is located on 33 Tracy Park Drive or 52 Cascade Boulevard. For the purpose of this meeting, a brief review of the theme directive will assist the setup for each location. So when we put the tender out for the design, when we put out the RFP or the request for proposals in a design build format, we provided a theme directive, and we're going to provide a brief summary of what those directives were. After we've provided for each location, we have 2 company representatives that are going to present their proposal, and they're available to answer any questions you may have. In the spirit of time management for each representative has been allotted 5 minutes for this and questions. Once each of the representatives have presented their options, we will be taking a poll so that you may have your say. We request that all of you participate in this, because this is one of the options and the way to have your say. Additionally to the Park and Recreation Master Plan, we also put out a survey that was posted on the city's website to engage the community in a process, providing data on which contract. And this survey was provided to the contractors as to the results of it. Of the first 1,500 surveys that were mailed out directly to the homeowners and residents within the area and posted on the website, we had 423 responses, and 5%, and only 5% of the received were from residents outside of the location area, which meant that a third of each of the remaining were represented equally for the 3 parks. So it was approximately 30% for each of the other parks. So we're going to provide 2 of the questions that will help establish some of the theme directive, so that you'll have a bit of a flavor of where the proponents and the vendors supplied. So we're not going to share the results of all 14 questions. However, if you would like to receive a copy of the results, we can make those available. All you have to do is email prmp@belleville.ca. One of the questions that we had was, in your opinion, what is the importance of the following park and play space features? And 95% of the respondents said that benches and tables were either somewhat or very important within a play space. This statistic is actually very close to the statistic that we received when the Park and Recreation Master Plan survey was put out earlier last year. there was an overwhelming identification that there is not enough amenities within parks, benches and tables being one of the many. So this was encouraging to us. Also, structures, climbers attached to other elements. Over 95% or just shy of 95% of the responses we received thought this was very or somewhat important. Swings, again, 95% approximately of the respondents thought that this was somewhat or very important. And we put this last category in, which was very interesting. We put in exercise equipment. Traditionally, when we talk about playgrounds, we have in our thinking, it's always been 0 to 12 years old. And there is a big insurgence in the latest years where playgrounds are not limited just to children. And I think you'll see how that unfolds tonight. Question 9 said, would you say that there's a need for playground or elements suited for ages above 12 years old? 75% of the responses of the 423 responses we received said, yes, there is a need for park elements suited for ages 12 years old or older. So we're going to move on to the parks, and I just ask that you remember those statistics and that information as we move forward. So the next, so we're going to start with Hague Park. So what we did when we put the request for proposals out, we provided a statistics from Census Canada from 2016 that identified specific details. And it's interesting for the different areas how these figures change. So the directive was to interpret the results of the survey and the demographics to design a play space or spaces that are creative, challenging, not for just children under the age of 12, but also for youth between the ages of 12 to 18. This equates for 14 to 18% of the population in this area. And you'll notice in the stats, halfway down, it says population of 65 plus or older as a percentage. So that's 21.3%. If you look at the population from 0 to 19, it says that that's 21%. The population from 19 to 65 equates for 57% of the population in this area. So our guiding principle for this park was, or the inspiration is what we called the Belleville Ninja Warrior Challenge Course. And it was not necessarily to be limited by conventional structures or elements. Included in the location was to supply 5 picnic tables secured and surrounded by either prefabricated or pour-in-place pads that allow for accessible provisions, and that they were planned to be placed within the tree area close to the play pods. So here we have 2 Google Maps. First, on the left-hand side is the existing, and you'll see an arrow with an orange arrow, and that's the existing playground. And what we said was we wanted to make the park elements a little more central. The thinking was that there could be different pods within there, knowing that this park in the not too distant future is going to probably quadruple in size with the development to the east of this park. So Mark, if you would like to invite Wendy in from New World Park Solutions to present her her proposal on option 1, please. Hi, Wendy, are you there?
She's joining now.
Hi, Wendy, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, thank you for
Hi,
having
Wendy.
me.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Good. So we have the slide up for you for your proposal for Hague Park. So I'll turn it over to you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks again for having me. I'm happy to be here tonight. So, like Roland had just said, Hague Park was designed with that Belleville Ninja Warrior theme in mind. So, to achieve this, we decided to just put various equipment all throughout the park in pods. We've also included the 3 benches, 2 picnic tables all throughout the park as well. And in total, we have 5 pods. So I'll just quickly go through each of them. So the first pod is pictured on the upper left-hand side there, and that is our swing area. So we've included a 2-bay swing set. It has 3 belt seats and 1 accessible seat. And just noteworthy is this is a 10-foot high top bar swing set. Just gives you a really nice high swing and different from the usual 8-foot that we get. So then the next pod is just below that, and this is our double-decker cone spinner. So this spinner is one of our largest one. It's 13 feet high. It just combines the excitement of spinning and climbing all in one. It allows many children to join in at once. And one of the great features about this cone spinner is it has that floor on the bottom. So it's very accessible, very inclusive. People with all abilities can join in on the fun with that. So then we move on to our next pod, which is the upper right-hand side. And oh, sorry, I forgot the exercise one. That's just below. So there's an exercise pod. And here we've included our energy, power, and agility station. So this features over 24 different exercises pictured on there for your full body workout. We also have a recumbent bike there for some cardio exercise as well. So now we can move on to the upper right picture, and this is our senior area. So this amazing space just has something for every little Ninja Warrior wannabe that visits. So most notably here is we have a 13-foot high Denali net climber. So it offers just a variety of challenges for all different abilities. So that net climber is actually linked to the 4-foot deck of the structure using a rope bridge. So that's a really unique, fun way to access the deck. Another really cool part on this structure is our Converge Climber. So this Converge Climber actually joins our 6-foot deck with our 8-foot deck. And it's a combination of ropes and metal components, and it just gives the kids a lot of variety and pathways to access. So they can go from the ground up to either deck, or they can go from deck to deck and not ever touch the ground, which is a fun thing for them to do. We have other climbers that access the deck as well, and we also have an accessible transfer station. And to complete the kind of loop, the link, we have some linked components, and they would include an overhead climbers, balance beams, log hops, and a helix climber. And so then the last pod is at the bottom there, and this is the junior area. So we wanted to design this to have like a mini, more age appropriate Ninja Warrior course for the younger age group. And it's kind of surrounded by a more traditional structure. And so here you can see there's flower climbers and butterfly climbers, a few block climbing squares. And they all link to access the structure. We also have the transfer station as well. And here we have provided 2 slides on the structure. And the slide that you can see here has what we call the slide aside exit. And so this is there for giving anybody who just needs a little bit of extra time getting off the slide. They can slide themselves over and maybe wait for their mobility device to come. And then they're not feeling like they're blocking all the traffic, and it's a really great inclusive piece. The ground level activities here, they include an accessible bug panel, anywhere seat, Babylon talk tubes. We also have a spin cup there. And we also decided to put in another swing set. We know swinging was important, but also it's nice for the younger kids to have, their own kind of space there. So we have 2 tot seats and an accessible seat there. So I know I've rushed through that pretty quick for 5 minutes, but if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Jenna, do we have any?
So we just have one question so far, and I think it might be for Roland. You mentioned that the park will quadruple in size. Were you referring to the parkland itself or the population using the park? I did not see an expansion of the park in the plans for the new development.
So yes, so I would say both. The population, I don't know whether it's going to quadruple, but there is an expansion that I'm not sure if it has been completely approved. The land has been cleared, and I'm not sure what stage it's at. But in that development, the existing park butts up what would be new additional parkland, which many people that live in the area will know now if they happen to go into the park and they look off to the distance. There is a very old white oak that has been saved, and there's also a collection of shagbark hickories, which are considered to be a species under concern because we're losing it as a native species. That is where the park is. The width maintains about the same width it is and goes all the way over to that live oak, to the oak, and then connects on to what would be the extension of Bridge Street.
We have another question. Will the big rock be able to be left in the park?
Sorry, Jenna, you broke up.
The big rock be able to be left in the park?
The big rock. So the existing play equipment will be removed, but any of the other features would stay, yes.
So that's it for questions right now.
Okay. So Wendy, I wanted to thank you for sharing this. I know you come back and see us in a little bit. So I'll thank you very much. And Mark, if you want to let Shelley in, please.
Starting now.
Thanks, Mark. Hi, Shelley.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much.
Excellent, thank you very much for having me. So we took, from ABC Recreation, we took a little bit of a different stance on this park and very much put in a variety of fitness pieces. We wanted this to be a park that kind of brings everybody together, available for kids 5 to 12 as well as 13 plus. And Landscape Structures has a line called FitCore Extreme. And what we did is we created essentially 2 pods. One pod being for 5 to 12-year-olds, the second pod being for 13 plus. Now, the 5 to 12-year-old equipment can absolutely be used by adults 13 plus. The main difference between the two is that the equipment for 13 plus is a little bit more challenging than what we would typically put in an area for 5 to 12-year-olds. So what I want to do is just kind of take you briefly through what the components are that we chose for this park. So looking at the 5 to 12 area, so this is the 3D on the top left part of the screen. And so starting on the piece on the very right-hand side of that, which there's this, a larger image of it directly above it. And this is called our high step. So basically, kids essentially step between, the rope is sort of like a bit of a grid system, and they would sort of step between each of the different ropes as a sort of an agility challenge. The second is our angled overhead ladder. So this is a semi-traditional overhead ladder, but in the sense that what makes it different is that it actually goes up and comes back down. So it adds that little bit of extra challenge. Next up, we have our A-frame cargo net. So you climb up one side of the net, you come over top of the top bar, and then you come down the other side of the net. Fourth activity is our spider walk. This is very much kind of like Spider-Man. You've essentially got two boards on either side, and you walk with your hands and your feet up against the boards. Gives the ability to kind of do something totally different. You can see there's a photo below that 3D. The photo is right in the middle that shows our spider walk. And then the very last component in the 5 to 12 area is our rope climb. So this gives kids the ability to climb up the rope. When they get to the top, there's a little bell that they can ring. And then that gives them the ability to kind of ring that bell, shows that they've kind of made it to the top, they've achieved kind of their goal of getting to the very top. And we really see this as an area of, you know, giving teens an ability to burn off some energy, learn some fitness skills while having fun. A lot of people don't think of this as going out and exercising, and some friendly competition, you know, kind of a place for kids to go. Now, the second area is what we is deemed for ages 13 plus. And this is the 3D on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And so starting with the activity that's on the very right-hand side, this is our globe grasp. So similar to an overhead ladder, but instead of your hands being horizontal, they're actually vertical because they're grabbing onto a little bit of a globe as they're going from one side to the other. They are stationary, but it gives a really good opportunity to you know, try something different, great upper body exercise. Second activity is our quintuple steps. So you essentially step from one angled platform to the other. The third one is our jump hang. So there's you can see there's a bit of an angled ramp going up to a kind of an angled net. And so you run up the ramp, and then you jump and grab onto the net, and then you can make your way all the way down that that net to the very lowest end. And then the fourth one is our ledge hanger. So you can see that there is a photo on the top left of this 3D. And what this is very, very good for your hands. You can sort of follow a certain path of color. So you can follow all the yellow ledges, or you can follow all the green ones, or you can mix it up and do a little bit of both. Great upper body exercise, especially for those that love to rock climb. Really good way to kind of get the fingers moving. So all of the equipment is, it's all your typical steel and powder coated material, very same type of product that we would use for building a playground. Our net is steel cord. So all of the climbing nets all have 6 strands of steel inside the rope. So very durable, very long lasting, excellent warranty. The support posts, 100-year warranty, 15-year warranty on any of the powder coating. And so all of the material, exact same quality that we would use on all of our playgrounds. And then it would be engineered wood fiber for the surface material. Every piece of fitness equipment has a sign that comes beside it that basically tells you how to use the activity and how to use the event. And then last but not least, the photo in the bottom left-hand corner is our shaded tables. So we will have 5 shaded or umbrella pedestal tables that will be on concrete pads. These will be dotted throughout the play area outside of the 2 different pods. And they will be on a concrete pad. 3 of them will have 3 seats and 2 of them will have 4 seats. So there will be an option for accessibility. If you're bringing any type of a mobility device, there'll be one open section on 3 of those tables that will be able to be used for all users. And all the colors for this equipment, as well as the tables, can also be changed up.
Great. Thank you very much, Shelley.
You're welcome. Any questions?
Yeah, do we have any questions, Jenna?
We just had one specific to the presentation, but it's been answered, and that was about the materials of the climbing walls.
Okay, great.
While we wait, though, we do have one a bit more specific to the park. Will the Bridge Street East right of way to the park be maintained?
Not. Maybe the person could expand on that. I'm not quite sure what they're asking. There is no right of way on Bridge Street because that's deemed private property owned by the developer. Maybe the only entrance into that park currently is through Hague, through the gate to the west of the park. However, when the new development comes in, the park will basically shape from a bird's eye view will be an L, and it does go out to what will be the extension of Bridge Street currently. If you could acknowledge whoever asked that question, whether we answered the question for you. Anything else, Jenna?
Nothing else. They did respond and say we currently have a walkway at the end of our street that goes to the park. It has been maintained during the development. But no other questions so far, and nothing else from this individual.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Shelley. Appreciate your coming and sharing and taking the time to share during the presentation.
Thank you very much, Roland. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, Mark, if you would like to move on. So we have, if you'd like to take Shelley out, thank you. So we have a poll, and the question we would like you to answer is, which option do you feel captured the theme directive Belleville Ninja Warrior best? So either option 1 or option 2. So I'll repeat the question. Which of these 2 options do you feel captured the theme directive Belleville Ninja Warrior best? So select, so if you could select option 1 or option 2, and as you can see pictured on the screen, option 1 is a little more, we'll say a little bit more traditional, and then option 2 is maybe outside the box of what a traditional playground would look like.
So we're waiting on about 10 responses.
Okay. Yeah, don't be shy. Please, please feel free to vote on this. We'll give you another minute or so just to think that through. Are they still coming in, Jenna?
Looks like we're holding steady at 19 of 27.
Okay. So if none other more, why don't you publish what the poll was? option 2. Option 1 was 40%, so 8 of the 20 said that option 1 captured it, and 60% of option 2. Okay, great. Thank you very much. So we're going to move on to Stanley Parquet. We're going to talk about the scope that we provided the vendors and the demographics representing the area. So the scope was to interpret the results of the survey and the demographics and to design a play space that is creative, identifies with age representations. And so we also said that we were looking for adult exercise should be considered and included within the play space. And the location should include a supply of 3 picnic tables secured and surrounded with either prefabricated or pour-in-place pads to allow for accessibility provisions. So when you look at this statistics from 2018, you notice that there is a strong population. When you look at over 1/3 of the area has a population of 65 years or older. And then the population 0 to 19 is around 17.2%. So you can see a fairly significant difference from the last one. So that was the directive. So the additional directive we gave to the vendors was that the pathway in the green arrows was to be maintained. That's a thoroughfare to the street-to-street connection. That the existing playground we were going to remove and not replace it there. And the reason that we made that decision is that some of these trees, we've had some loss of trees in there to the emerald ash borer, but we have some other trees that in our eyes are significant. And we did not want to do a lot of construction around these trees to help to maintain them. As soon as you start doing a lot of construction around them, it can hamper the life of them, especially if they're close to their mature age. So we will be removing the material that's there, grassing it over and seeding. One of the other things, directives that we asked was that we wanted the playground vendors to consider the existing trail connection, and to that trail connection was open for their interpretation on how they wanted to deal with it. We wanted to widen it and upgrade the trails, which we will be doing, so that we can provide winter control in these areas, which is challenging right now with the state of them currently. So our first proposal is from Wendy. So if you would like to bring her back in, please.
Joining now.
Thank you. Hey, Wendy, you're back.
Hi again.
I'll turn it over to you to go through your concept for this park.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks again. So we designed this park having a nature theme in mind. And the first picture I'll get you to refer to is the small insert on the right-hand side. And it shows a bit of the layout. So where those paths cross in the middle, there's we're going to kind of clean up that area. There's a big circle meeting central area there. And in that area, we're going to provide 3 16-foot shade sails there. And also, like, underneath, there'll be 2 picnic tables and 2 benches as well. So also from this picture, you can see there's a exercise area at the back. And in this station, we have 3 different sides. And so each side is providing a different kind of workout. So we've offered like an upper body, a lower body, and then a core and stability panel, so you can get a full body workout from there. So next, if you look at the upper left-hand picture there, you'll see that this is our junior area, so 2 to 5 year olds. We provided 1.5 bays there. So we have a taut seat, an accessible seat, and we also have a really cool inclusive swing along seat. So this is where the caregiver and the child can both swing together. We have some independent items in this area. So one is the home dome. So that's that dome shaped structure that you see there. And this has been specifically designed for 2 to 5 year olds. It's a really great, inclusive, accessible piece. It provides not only physical play, but a lot of imaginative play as well. The users can go inside it, on top of it, around it. And all the openings are large enough that the adults and caregivers can also interact with the kids as they're using it. So from there, so we also have a chipmunk spring rider included in this area. And so from there, we go on to the structure itself. So there's 3 decks on the structure, a 3-foot, 4-foot, and a 5-foot deck in height. We have 3 slides there. You can see 2, and the slide on the other side, not pictured, is a double slide. There's multiple climbers, all that vary in degree of challenges. And we also have a transfer station on that. Some of the ground level activities, we have a talk tube, and we have an anywhere seat tucked underneath one of the decks. We've provided shade using the carnival roof as well as the tree toppers. And so next we go down to the lower picture. And so this is the senior area. And in this area, we also provided a swing set. So it has 2 belt seats. And the structure has multiple climbers, including an overhead climber and various other ones to access the structure, along with the transfer station for accessibility. So we have 2 slides on here. And again, you'll notice we have that slide aside exit on the slither slide. And the other really cool feature on this structure is our infinettes, and they're pictured on the right-hand side of the structure. So there's 2 nets there, and it leads up to a portal that's about 5 feet high. So the first net is actually at transfer height, so it's also an accessible piece. It has a solid panel where people can transfer onto. The nets, they're open and they just barrier free. They just provide a lot of for all abilities. And it leads up to the portal, which I think has kind of a treehouse kind of look for that nature theme. And from that portal, you can access the 5-foot deck there, which is kind of a neat way to do it. There are also an anywhere seats tucked underneath the decks, and there's also a spin cup in that area there as well that's not pictured. Again, that was a rush through version, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Wendy. Jenna, do we have any questions?
So none specific to the presentation yet. We do have one maybe for Roland. Is it possible to take one age option from one presentation and combine it with another age option in another presentation?
So I can answer that. So each of the playgrounds were put out as separate requests for proposals. They were not put in as one. So the quick answer is no, we can't do that because they were specific to each of the tenders or the requests for proposals that we put out.
We have another one. Is there anything inside the portal for the children to play with?
No, the portal is more, it's more of an access point. They can be up there, survey, use their imagination, but there's not a specific toys or activity panels inside there, no.
The next question we have, what is the ground cover? Sand, wood chips, or other?
The ground cover will be engineered wood fiber, so a wood chip.
And the last question we have, other than picnic tables, are there any structures geared to adult activity?
I guess the exercise equipment is definitely geared for adults.
Is that all the questions?
Looks like those are all the questions we have so far.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Wendy. I appreciate you coming and taking the time to share the two proposals, and just really thank you for answering the questions and being open to spend the time with us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.
Okay. The next one we have, if you'd like to invite Zachary Zabrecki in, please, Mark.
Joining now.
Hello, Zach. He's not connected yet, Mark.
He's in the meeting, and there he is.
There he is. Hi, Zach. How are you?
Hello. Doing well, Roland. How are you?
Great. How's life? Probably as exciting as it is for us in Ontario.
Definitely. Yes. We actually just had a snowfall here today, with the day before being just under 20 degrees. So we get to see, we get to see everything over here.
Well, we had snow yesterday, so and then we didn't have 20 today, but we might get it tomorrow.
Good. Good.
Anyways, we're not here to talk about the weather. We're Canadians, so I'll turn it over to you, Zach, for
sure.
Okay.
Thank you. So I just wanted to open up and introduce ourselves and who we are. We are a family-owned and operated company, Canadian manufacturer right here in Medicine Hat, established in 1917. So I will begin with the playground area first. As you can see there, a bright, vibrant blue and orange color scheme. With the first point that I want to touch on is the alternating platform colors. Really big with inclusivity and for children who are visually impaired as they make their way up to taller areas on a structure. Biggest thing that we like to do is just combine the colors of that vinyl. So on this unit here, we have a tan and brown color. The first area is kind of geared towards the 2 to 5 age group, where we have a transfer station leading up to an 8-foot wave with a couple different climbers, which then we connect with a challenging web link bridge, if you want to call it, up to, of course, the higher areas of the playground structure with 2 slides where once you're up there, you can grab a friend and race them down to the bottom. Definitely once you're down at the surface there, we have some ground level activities, the spin cycle, the bell bar, and 2 hangout corners underneath that slide as well. So as you're done there, we then move over to the overhead section, which utilizes Blue Imp's Uplay series, which is a curved contemporary post, creating a different look to the traditional playground that you typically see. Again, as per the RFP, parameters, looking for that sort of a fitness type circuit. This is definitely geared to kids even over that age of 12 years old. We have the network, which functionally links to the twist and turn in there, and as you progress on, you have the Ogopogo overhead with the tangent, a few rotators as well. So again, a perfect circuit layout that will definitely attract users and big fans of the traditional playground game of grounders. I know I loved that when I was a kid. In addition to that as well, the satellite spinner, as you can see, there is another inclusive item that can be accessed from the ground level. It can hold up to 8 to 10 users comfortably on there as well. The ground level here, or ground surfacing, is an engineered wood fiber, just like what it's been consistent through this whole presentation as well. So that's really narrowed down on the playground aspect itself. As we move over to the fitness circuit, we have 6 different pods here. And what we've done is we've created, again, another circuit type where you can go from machine to machine, utilizing different exercises. So we have to begin, you have a warm-up station. So this is where you can do your calf raises, get everything loosened up. You then move on to the horizontal bars. Again, 4 different levels here that will accommodate different heights of users. Different exercises such as chin-ups, push-ups can be utilized here as well. So again, moving on to the multi-fit. Here's another piece of equipment that allows you to have multiple users taking or partaking in exercises at one time. Again, very high speed workouts can be completed here. Moving on to the lower body combo, again, just kind of warms up the lower half. There's 5 different stepping pods that allow you to go up and down. Again, really good for mobilizing and loosening up the lower body. The push-up, reverse push-up bars. With that there, pretty self-explanatory. You can couple exercises with a reverse push-up and a standard push-up. Moving on after that to your core station. Again, here just working on the core exercises. You can let your imagination run wild here as well too. Again, you can utilize this for lower body equipment or exercises as well. Now in the center, you're going to see a wheelchair accessible picnic table. There's one seat there that is removed for wheelchair access to slide in right under that table. Here, the idea behind this was a resting point after you're done your workout circuit or need a quick break, and that is why that has been placed right in the center. Again, a great place while the kids are playing, gives the adults an opportunity to partake in exercise as well too, outdoors, enjoy the fresh air. Especially the times we live in right now. So in addition to that, moving to the picnic tables along the trail there, what we've done there is we've poured 2 concrete pads, which allow, again, we have the wheelchair accessible picnic table where the user can roll the chair right underneath. Again, seating aids wonderfully in supervision. It supports multi-generational use. And just promotes that social connection that again we have been longing for forever. So that pretty much wraps up my spiel on the entire play space, and I will open it to questions right now, Roland.
Thank you, Zach. Jenna, do we have any questions?
No questions in the chat so far.
Okay, well, Zach, I know you're coming back to see us, but we'll say see you in a minute. We're just going to do our poll now, so thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so it's your time for a poll again. So the question that we would like you to answer is, which of the two options, option 1 or 2, do you feel captured the theme directive of age representation? So again, which of the two options, option 1 or option 2, do you feel captured the theme directive? So don't be shy. We really value the input that you've taken the time to spend some time with us to review these, and we just ask that you take the moment to cast your vote. So if you can do that. How are we making out?
We're at about 60% have voted.
Don't be shy. Please, like I said, your opinion, your thoughts. We're not necessarily asking you to choose one over the other. And we're asking for what one you feel represents the theme directive we gave. So yes, you are choosing one from the other, but it's just to give us a good understanding of what the community is looking for as we look to meet the needs of the community based on the survey, the demographics, and the Park and Recreation Master Plan. Where are we at, Jenna?
Looks like we're holding steady at 20 out of 28, so I'm going to go ahead and close the polling.
Okay, so if you want to, okay, well, an interesting result. So we have option 1, 45%, and option 2, 55%. So 2 people cut, difference of 2 people or 2 options. So we thank you for that. Okay, so we'll move on to our next one. So like the last one, the scope of this playground is to interpret the survey results and demographics of the play space, which identifies with ethnic representation. And if you look at the table beside us, you'll see that 35% of the population identifies with Indigenous, Asian, Southeast Asian. There's a high popularity in there, and minorities as well. So again, a very different demographic. And when you look at the population 65 and older, we're at 13.1%. So it's really interesting when you start looking at demographics within and how to meet the needs of the community. So as it says there, the census indicates that the community is made up of nearly 30% children and youth under the age of 19 years old, which that is 1/3 of the people that live in this location are under 19 years old. That is a huge demographic. So this is a Google shot. So like with the other playgrounds, we identify the area we call a limit of contract. That is the area that the contractor works within, puts up their fencing, and then it's up to them to provide options. There is a tree that is by the trail there, and there's an existing swing set there. So we told the groups that the existing location and shape should not limit the design and creativity. And it should include a stone dust trail going through if they decided to split the playground up between 2 locations. And we asked for 3 picnic tables secured to concrete pads. And the amenities or proposed amenities should be of an extreme heavy duty nature. and limited use of plastics. So Mark, if you would like to bring back in Zach so he can present his proposal to us.
Starting now.
Thank you. Hi, Zach.
Hello.
We're back with you. So I'll turn it over to you.
Perfect. So with this design in mind, and as you just touched on, Roland, the one thing that Blue Imp strives on is longevity and products made of steel to avoid any tampering and such like that. So in this proposal here, I did two different options, and as you can see from the two 3Ds, there's an option with plastic slides and an option with steel. Again, the reason why I presented the option of steel is longevity, a better warranty on our steel, and manufacturing lead times as well. We manufacture those slides, again, right here in Medicine Hat, so we are in control of that lead time. Warranty on steel is 20 years compared to plastic being 10. So again, real big advantage there going with steel, and just again really focusing on the parameters set out from the RFP to really nail on a playground structure that will be durable and be timeless. So in addition to that, we have a lot of different play features on this structure. We have a ramp for wheelchair access that'll come right off that sidewalk. We have different play panels on there, such as the plastic tic-tac-toe. We have an I Spy panel. We do have the capability for customization based on a cultural heritage. We didn't really want to, I guess, show a ton of that, because what we want to do, and if the opportunity does arise, is we want to have the opportunity to consult with an expert in the region on what type of customization in regards to the cultural heritage that was set out in the RFP. So if that is an opportunity, that would be fantastic to really customize this unit to make sure that we are hitting those points that were set out in the RFP. So in addition to that, we have the accessible bouncing dog sled that comes off this wheelchair ramp. It's a great bouncing feature for children who are in a wheelchair. So again, plenty of play opportunities on this hex deck. So the Eagle Climb as well is on this area too. So as you progress up, we have different climbers. We have the inverter, we have the climbing ladder as you move up to a higher platform, and as we reach those higher heights is where we get to the very fast and fun triple slide. The plastic one, as you can see there, is going in all different directions. Again, grab a couple of friends and see who can race each other down to the bottom. The other features too, with an overhead section, we have our orbiter, which is a challenging 360-degree overhead that brings you right back to the start. We have the spiral, again, is another real challenging overhead that has movement to it. The swinging is another overhead with movement, and then the advanced horizontal ladder, where the bottom bars will actually be swinging as you move through. A lot of movement on this overhead, which provides a ton of challenges, and definitely works on upper body strength. Again, ground covering, engineered wood fiber, staying consistent with what the RFP survey had asked for. And ground level play, again, here we have the chinning bar and turning bar. Again, can be accessed at or by a wheelchair user. And as you can see there in the photo, two saucers, which again, functionally link. It's a real big term in the playground industry. Functionally linking to, again, allow the game of grounders to be played. So a couple of freestanding pieces. The pause and play is what we'll call that. The gazebo there with a bunch of different play activities. You have the build a word, We have a Canadian wildlife memory game on there, and we have a storefront as well. Another piece here, which again, if the opportunity can arise, we could potentially do some custom art on that steel hex roof to really attribute to that cultural heritage that we were looking at. So with that, this zone definitely nails on the calming activities, sensory, tactile, and imaginative play. So again, another piece that has become incredibly popular and definitely is a great zone for kids that want to get away from high intense play to maybe just chill out and have a good time. So as we move on, the Ocean Wave Spinner. Again, it's an accessible piece that is very inclusive, allows 10 to 12 users at one time, and it's another piece that just develops spatial awareness and develops that group play, as I just touched on. And in closing there with the picnic tables, again, 3 round wheelchair accessible picnic tables, all on concrete pads, 2 of them which are going to be connected to that pathway, and 1 that is just in the back with closer to the play elements with the overhead section. So again, biggest thing, oh, and on top of that too, we wanted to do the alternating platform colors again to just, again, provide that visual aid for any children that that might just be a little bit visually impaired. Makes transitioning up to those higher platforms much easier. And with that, yeah, just the biggest thing I wanted to touch on was the 2 options between the plastic and steel slides, and just providing the benefits of having stainless steel on top of plastic. So I'll open it up to questions now, Roland.
Thank you very much, Zach. Jenna, do we have any questions?
No questions specific to the presentation yet, no.
Okay. Well, Zach, I wanted to express my appreciation for you spending some time with us this afternoon or this evening, presenting your options. Just really appreciate the time you've taken, and we shall be in touch.
For sure. And I appreciate the opportunity too, Roland. Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mark. Okay, it's we're moving on to if you could let Janet in, please, Mark.
Starting now.
Thank you. Hi, Janet. Hello, Janet. Oh, there she is. Hi, Janet. How are you? We're ready to go. We're ready for you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Janet, and I'm excited to be here tonight to walk you through our park design for Cascade Park. I've been in the playground industry for over 25 years now, and I have to tell you for sure, yes, every day my job is fun. So when we first looked at the RFP for Cascade Park and its surroundings, we definitely realized right away we wanted to do something special for this park. And after reading the matrix about the multiculturalism, the high sheer volume of this park, we really tried to think outside the box. And when we looked at the budget, we knew right away that the generous budget would allow us to introduce the Explorer Dome to Belleville. The Explorer Dome, many of you may not have ever seen an Explorer Dome before. This product is really prominent in Europe, Asia, and Australia. And we've been lucky enough to introduce it to the Ontario market in 3 locations. And at every location, it has gone over with a huge success. In all of those locations, we had community groups where we would speak with children and introduce them to the Explorer Dome. And over 90% of children over 6 years old we're selecting the Explorer Dome over a traditional playground. And we kind of asked the question, why would a child pick the Explorer Dome over a traditional playground? And it brings us back to sort of what definition of play is. And play is unstructured play. So there shouldn't be any precursive routes. When you look at the Explorer Dome, you don't know where the entrance is. You don't know where the exit is. You can just do what you want. You can go in any side. You can climb up it however you want. Whereas a more traditional structure would have you go upstairs, channel you through to panels or climbers or slides. And it's a very pre-conscribed route. So the Explorer Dome allows more opportunity for kids to be creative on how they're going to tackle problems and situations. One of the things that the Explorer Dome is, it has a lot of different materials. So you'll see a lot of cabling there. And not only that, cabling has different size diameters for different size hands. So in the areas where toddlers would be scaling around the outside of the bottom, they would be smaller rope dimensions and then they would get bigger. You see a large 8-inch diameter cocoa rope running through the middle of there and wooden ladders. All of these things in that bottom chart, which is hard to read, but they promote social play, physical play, development of courage, balancing, coordination, all of the things that we're trying to do to enhance kids' confidence and build them to be great people in the community. The Explorer Dome also in many countries has proven that kids will play on it longer. When it is a traditional structure where there's different routes, once they've done it, they know what it's like. With the Explorer Dome, they can create all these different opportunities. So what's happened is kids have played longer on the Explorer Dome in time, but they've also played longer on it in age, which is really significant because we want children to be playing longer. So if we have a 13 or 14-year-old that is at a lower maturity rate, it's great for them to have the opportunity still to play. Some of the other benefits of the Explorer Dome from an adult perspective and a maintenance perspective is that it's open and easy to supervise. So taking a glance over the Explorer Dome, you can see the bodies, the shapes, how many people are on, what's going on. There's no hiding places. Another benefit is that it doesn't get as hot as a traditional structure. So in traditional structure where you have large surfaces of decks or stainless slides, plastic slides, they tend to heat up more in the summer, whereas the Explorer Dome cables, with having such a small surface area, tend not to get as hot as our traditional structures. From an operations and maintenance side of the equation, it's pretty indestructible. These galvanized arches are just, they've got a lifetime warranty. The ones we've had in site never have had any issues. So it's a fairly indestructible product that holds a lot of children. It can hold up to 55 children. In this design, we didn't want to forget about the toddlers, those 18-month to 4-year-olds, because they're very important in our community. So we did put a smaller traditional structure you'll see at the bottom there. Children in this age group have a different play behavior, and it's called looping. So what you'll find if you're a parent with a toddler is they go up the stairs, down the slide, up the stairs, down the slide. This is a very natural way for them to learn and test out their environment and change their variables on their own speed. So this structure is a 2-deck structure. It provides a entry-level climber, a transition accessible staircase. It's got panels. It's got a social table for under the deck where they have their cozy nook. And it also boasts a spring rider for our youngest of our park rower. We never want to forget the youngest ones. In our layout there, you'll also see that we have a 2-bay swing set. We've included 2 belts, a tot, and an accessible seat. That mix can change. But we felt that that was a good mix for this park. One of the things that we also included was the bug climber. And this was just an intermediate climber that we put in here for kids that didn't think they were ready for the Explorer Dome. It's also another indestructible climber that holds 9 kids. They can climb all over it. After looking back on this and thinking about it, it is also an option that climber could be changed to some more toddler features of spinning nature and balancing nature at ground level. So we're pretty flexible in that way. Overall, we hope you see the value in the Explorer Dome. Some of your children will may not have had the opportunity to play on this, but it is an opportunity that would typically come from a destination park or a theme park. And it's something that we want to give the children of Cascade area to create these lasting childhood memories. When they look back at their life hanging out in the park, which a lot of them do, we're hoping that the Explorer Dome creates a lot of those lasting memories for them. But we also know that moms and dads are found on this Explorer Dome, which is great to see them integrating play with their kids. And, you know, we catch the odd grandma and grandpa on there as well. But hopefully the adventure is new and it's fresh and it makes this park super special. We think it's a great fit and hopefully you do. We also do have the picnic tables that were specified in the document. And I'll definitely field any questions, as you may not have seen this product before.
Thank you very much, Janet. Jenna, do we have any questions?
We have one specific to this presentation. In the map in Janet's presentation, what will prevent children from going into residence yard with the south structure? It appears very close to the fence line where residence fences are only about 4 feet high.
Oh, to the east. Just a point of clarification to the person that posed the question. Are you referring to the structure on the upper part of the path, or which is the swings? Or are you talking about the structure? Because there is this structure is what we'll say on the south or the lower part of the bisecting path. So the tree that is on the west side of the path that runs north-south. So it's a little bit ways away from that, the neighboring properties.
We can pull it closer to the path though, right, Roland? That wouldn't be an issue.
No, and the actual location, we would, you know, if you were successful on all of the playground presentations, the actual site and how they lay out is something that we do from a operations standpoint.
So to clarify, they did mean the large black structure in the map, the most south.
Yeah, the Explorer Dome.
Yeah.
That could be pulled in for sure.
Yep.
And I don't see any more questions specific to this one. We did have somebody ask if there were swings included in the first presentation.
No, there is not. Okay. No other questions, right, Jenna?
No, thanks.
No other.
Okay, thank you very much, Janet. Appreciate you taking the time to share this, the Explorer Dome and the climbing bugs.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, and everybody have a great night.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, so moving on, the question we're looking for the participants to answer is, which option do you feel captured the theme directive ethnic representation best? So when we think about the representation and the demographics of the area, which of these do you feel for the age and ethnic representation do you feel are best represented? Don't be shy. We really appreciate your input and taking the time to select one of those options. Okay, Jenna, whereabouts are we?
We're at about 18, still going up.
Okay, that's great. Yep, that'd be great. Okay,
It looks like we're holding steady at 20, so I'll go ahead and end the polling now.
thank you very much. So option 2, 70% versus 30%. So thank you for taking the time. So the question begs, what happens next? Well, in our processes, staff will review and consolidate all the information we've received from the open house, from the survey, the tender submissions, and the Park and Recreation Master Plan. And in doing so, we'll create a recommendation that will be submitted to Mayor and Council for approval once we receive the COVID-19 resilience funding to the city, and we've been awarded it, then we can start the process for that. At this point, I wanted to just open up the opportunity if there is any other questions that anybody might have. We do have 10 minutes left. I see that somebody has put up their hand. And do you see who? Oh, Brianna has a question. Brianna, can you type into the chat your question for us, please? Do we have anything, Jenna?
Nothing yet, no. Just came in. For Stanley Parquet, option 2, does it have swings?
Stanley Parquet. Just let me double check that one. No, it does not. Option 2 does not have swings. Option 1 did have swings. Next we have Jeff has his hand up. So if you could type in your question, please, Jeff.
While Jeff is typing, Brianna would like to know if they could be added.
We can look into that. That is one, when we started and we set the stage for these presentations, one of the items that we identified had a 95% request was swings. That is something that we will look into if there is a recommendation to council. We will also look into that as well if there is sufficient funding to do so.
Dale had a similar question for Cascade Park option 1, if there could be swings added to that design.
Again, we would, once we've reviewed all of the information and we come to a recommendation, we would look if there was no swings in that option, if there was funding, we would look to do that and ask council to allow us to do that.
Jeff would like to know what was the age group for option 2 at Stanley Parquet? Because I live close and there are a lot of younger children, including mine, under the age of 10.
So for Stanley Parquet, Jenna, you said?
That's right, and option 2.
Just looking back, sorry, give me a second. I would say that structure, and I might be corrected that the second option you said, sorry, Jenna?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so the age group is, I would say, family, mixed, with the exercise pod on the one side of the cross connection on the trail, and then a mix of 5 to 12-year-olds I believe would be considered a senior structure. And then there is a smaller structure that would be junior. So usually when we have a connection of two structures that are various ages, they generally are rated for that higher rating. Any other questions or?
Dale would like to know Cascade Park option 2. How tall is the large play structure, as many homes have large windows at the back and are worried of privacy?
So that was which one, sorry?
That's Cascade Park option 2.
Okay, so the dome. Mark, is Janet still with us?
Janet's actually just chimed in the chat. It's 9 feet high.
Okay, thanks, Janet. So the answer would be 9 feet high. That's great. Thank you. Is there any other questions?
It looks like that's it for now.
Okay, so maybe what I'll do is just take the opportunity. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Jeff, one more question. What is the website to ask more questions and vote on the park we would like to see?
Okay, so that's two great questions. So I've gone to the next slide, which says contact email is prmp@belleville.ca. Any further questions or clarifications that people have, feel free to email that, and we'll receive that and then be able to respond to those. With regard to voting, the platform tonight was the platform for the public to have their vote and to have their say on which playgrounds met the requirements based on the demographics, the survey, and we'll take all of those together and come up with a recommendation to council. Any other questions, Jenna?
That's it for questions.
Okay, well, I would like to thank you as we turn to 6:27. I want to thank everyone very much for taking a part and taking the time to be with us tonight and helping to shape and develop the parklands and playgrounds in the city of Belleville. Community engagement is very important, and this is a part of the development of our parklands and playgrounds, and we look forward to the opportunity to have more of these and engage people in this development. So I would just take this opportunity again to thank you and look forward to